everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of building the ultimate theme park water park, the Azure Lagoon. So the title and thumbnail is a little bit deceptive in the early beginning here because I'm just cleaning up a couple of details that I forgot from the parking lot. Like, for example, I had completed the exit on the upper left side of the parking lot, which was all that I intended at first. And I wanted to turn this side into the 2A road to turn this into an exit as well, just because symmetrically I think it looked really nice. And so here I'm going in and adding some terrain detail to kind of fluff out these exit parts because they're not particularly my favorite. I copy pasted them from the original smaller parking lot from where the entryway cars were coming in from, but I ended up using it in the larger lot here. So now we get into working on the actual entryway for the park, which I knew I wanted it to be a little bit more raised, looking above the parking lot. Oh, and here I'm just changing the sidewalk color to be a little less pavementy and to have that resort vibe. And I wanted to bring it on a bit of an elevation too, so that when guests are entering into the parking lots, there's this kind of wow factor of looking up at the entryway and being very amazed. So that's what I decided to go for here. this point, I'm going to add that there are two glaring problems with this park that I have not yet realized. One of those is that the turnstiles for the entryway to the park are actually inverted, meaning that I have the exit pointed to the entrance and the entrance pointed to the exit, which is obviously a problem because then guests aren't going to walk through the park. They're going to walk through the parking lot, which I noticed a little bit at first, but I had just kind of put it aside thinking that, oh, well, the rest of the park isn't developed. Like, they have nowhere to go yet. But I did eventually end up turning it around once I played in live mode and realized this. And the other problem that I had too, which I anticipated but completely forgot about, was that there were no connections from the buses that guests enter in from to the actual sidewalks. So the guests can't just walk on the grass, they have to actually walk on a pathway. So my solution to this, which you'll see in just a minute, is to have a pathway underneath the fake pavement, so guests can walk to the sidewalk. And here's where I'm starting to realize that something is a little bit amiss, but yes. So in terms of what I was thinking for the overall design for the entryway area was I really wanted to focus on that first dazzling look into the park and then expand it into sections from then on, so I can make them into nice, like, digestible pieces of content, I guess, not only for the videos but for myself too, where I can explicitly say, okay, I'm working on this section today, or I'm working on this section today. And so that's kind of what you see me here doing, is just building off this little split path, and I'm putting in some of the staff facilities back there as well, so the generators for power, and then I end up putting the mechanics workshop and a small staff break room. And then here we have a guest services area, and then I eventually end up adding in some lockers, which I knew I wanted to implement as soon as I saw the blueprint because I thought it looked fantastic. So from here, kind of the idea is that I want to split off into a food court pretty close by, and then to have a like hotel section, and then a water park section. And I say water park with a grain of salt because there's going to be multiple areas with pools and flumes and all that great stuff. Just maybe the first water park section is where you're gonna see coming from that path in the back there. One of my favorite things to implement in parks, especially with kind of larger sections of pathing like this, is to try and break it down into smaller pieces and have these really nice, like, floral arrangements or just some sort of greenery in general to break up the monotony of the wooden flooring. And so that's what I'm doing here. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how difficult the pathing can be in this game sometimes. Like, you could see there, I was really struggling with how to implement what I wanted to do. Like, I had a very distinct image of I wanted this organic, circular, soft shape, and I just couldn't accomplish that. The draw path tool to be able to connect the two shapes just wasn't working, so I had to end up resorting to using some straight lines and then I kind of hid the jaggedness by using these little pieces of fencing, which again are not perfect, and I was a little bit frustrated when I got around to the end and there wasn't quite enough room for an extra one. So I ended up overlaying it. But my perspective with this build is to try and not get so into the nitty-gritty detail, because there is an audience for that. Like, people love that. I love that. If I spent my absolute time making everything as perfect as it possibly could be, I think that takes away from the fun of it, of just enjoying the building process and accepting that it's not going to be perfect, because this is truly just for fun. And, I've been someone that struggles with perfectionism in lots of different things that I do. So to be able to take a step back and just do this the way that I want to, I think is a really great experience. Alrighty guys, so we were kind of getting down to the final details here and just adding in those things that make it feel just a little bit more lived in, add just a little bit more detail. But I know it's not the most grandiose park entrance that could be possibly made, but I am pretty happy with how it turned out. And I would absolutely love to hear if you guys would have done anything differently, if you have any suggestions for things that I could add or things that I could change. And also, this is me discovering that security is a feature in this game. I had absolutely no idea that was a thing. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be implementing that throughout the entire park, but yeah. And then here I'm just updating the directional signs to actually point to accurate locations. So I'm going to be doing the food court to the left, and then we have Surf Shore, which is going to be our first pool area, pool resort combination area, which I'm super excited to implement. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at the final area. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.